Hey everyone, what's going on? Thank you so much for clicking back on my channel. In today's video, I just want to go over how to properly bench press. This has been a highly requested video and I've been meaning to do it for a while, so I've taken some time to put together some tips and tricks that have worked best for me to allow me to maximize my bench press strength. So let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy this voiceover. So firstly, the most important thing when it comes to maximizing your bench press is your setup. Prioritizing your setup is really going to help ensure that you are able to press as much as you possibly can while being safe. So I like to use the feet up method when getting into position. I will be discussing how I set up using this method. You don't have to set up this way. You can incorporate what is known as the pull-through method, but make sure you play with both so you can see which one works better for you. Firstly, you want to grip the bar at an appropriate spot. The ideal spot for you is whatever is going to allow your forearms to be perpendicular to the ground and where your elbows are not going to flare outwards. This is going to depend on your body structure, so before you add weight to the bar, make sure you play with the grip to see your ideal setup. You also want to make sure that your wrists are nice and straight and they're not bending back when you are benching. Bending your wrists when you are gripping the bar is going to put a lot of strain on them and will increase your risk of injury and hold you back from maximizing your strength because you won't be able to hold that much. Now that you have figured out your ideal grip, you want to focus next on burying your traps into the bench by bringing your hips up as high as you can and focusing on squeezing your shoulder blades together to pretend that you are screwing them into the bench. Once you feel that your traps are screwed into place and you are not moving anywhere, you are ready to put your feet onto the ground. So when you go to place your feet onto the ground, you want to ensure that you don't lose position of your upper body. This is why so many people will like the pull-through method a little bit better, because they find that they do lose position when it comes to this point in the setup. So bring one foot down at a time, nice and slow, and this will help ensure that you don't lose position. So when you're placing your feet down, some people like to screw the ball of their feet into place, which is totally fine. But this isn't actually allowed in the powerlifting federation that I compete in. You actually have to have your entire foot flat. So I always practice with my feet completely flat, from the ball of my foot all the way to the heel. So when you press them down, you just want to pretend that you are screwing them into the ground. So that's why you will see me pivoting my foot back and forth before I place it all the way into the ground. Either method of having your foot completely flat or just the ball of your foot completely onto the ground is going to depend on your goals. However, you want to ensure that your feet aren't flopping around during the press. This will cause your setup to break down really quickly, decrease the amount of weight you're able to push, and it actually increases your risk of injury. So before we move on to the actual movement itself, let's quickly discuss the arch. This is something I get nagged on quite a bit whenever I post any of my benching videos. So why do you want to create this arch? Firstly, it reduces the range of motion. So this is extremely beneficial in a powerlifting meet as it allows you to push more weight. It also takes the pressure off of your shoulders. As you can see from my demonstration without an arch here, my shoulders look like they are shrugged forward a bit, right? And this puts a lot of strain on them and actually prevents me from lifting heavier and safer. Another reason you want to arch is the increased amount of stability in your setup. All of your muscles are perfectly locked into place, so you can move the weight most efficiently. So if you aren't competing in powerlifting, obviously your arch doesn't have to be overly dramatic like this, but I would recommend that you still incorporate the strategy, as it's going to help ensure that you are maximizing your potential strength. Alright, now that we're perfectly into place, let's get into the actual bench press itself. Once you are set up, you're now ready to unrack the bar. A lot of people will try to push the bar up when they are unracking. This can actually cause a loss of stability that you just worked so hard setting up. So instead, you want to actually focus on pushing out versus up when you're unracking. So once the bar is up over top of your chest, before you descend, you actually want to take a deep breath into your chest and bring the bar down with the breath held. Once you are ready to push the bar back up, that is when you start to push that held air out. So pushing the bar back up is going to require you to push with your upper body, yes, but your lower body is actually going to assist you quite a bit as well. When you're pushing the bar back up, you want to drive your heels into the ground and pretend that you're pushing the floor away from you. You may find that your glutes want to come up off the bench. If you're driving correctly with your lower body, your butt should remain on the bench. This is why screwing your feet into place is so important, as you won't be able to get proper drive that is needed if your feet are flopping all over the place. So that is the bench press, you guys. Those are the major strategies that I recommend that you incorporate into your training regimen. It's really going to help you maximize your strength and move the weight most efficiently. So I hope you guys found this episode helpful. Thanks so much for clicking back on my channel, and please make sure that you guys like the video, comment down below, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. That's going to conclude this voiceover for today, you guys. And thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you guys in the next video.